Welcome to the Team Builder Leadership Institute. My name is Tony Roberts. I'm the Chief Transformation Officer. And in this video, I want to talk a little bit about the language of leadership. Now, or should I say the language of high-performance leadership. A lot of people don't realize that being a high-performing leader, in other words, a leader that can get people to focus on what they're there to do and not the leader's behaviors. Well, being that kind of leader takes a specific language. It takes a language that points people toward the goals and it doesn't point them back at the leader. So let's talk about that. Have you ever had a conversation with somebody, you were just going to give them some instructions, just talk to them a little bit about getting something done, and it turned into a heated conversation or maybe an uncomfortable conversation, maybe some anger or resentment was built, and you're sort of thinking, well, how did that happen? Well, the way it happened, and this happens to everybody all the time, and not just at work, this happens at home and other places than when you're dealing with people, because when we communicate with people, we tend to communicate with them through generalities and through our emotions. In other words, we don't provide specific details. We expect them to assume some things, and we just throw any emotion we're feeling out there. Now, in leadership, what that does is it creates disconnects between what you're trying to get them to do, the instructions, and the way you said it. So, for instance, one of the ways that I see leaders that they sort of shoot themselves in the foot a lot is they tend to say, you must, you need to, or I want, I need. Okay. So when you tell somebody, okay, you've got to do that, you've got to do this, first of all, what does that mean? What does it make you feel like when somebody says, okay, you must do that, you need to do that, especially the you need? What does it make you feel like when somebody says, you need to do that? Now, if you're normal, like most people that I get the feedback from, they share when they hear you need, it sort of upsets them because they're thinking to themselves, well, actually, I don't need to. Now, here's the thing. So instead of saying in a way where you focused them on the goals, now you've said it in a way where you focused them on the way you said it. So for a leader to be a high-performance leader, you learn to use terminology and words that keep them focused on the goals. So instead of you need, it would be more results focused. So you'd say, okay, so we're looking for this result. How are we going to take care of that? And then the person would say, well, we could do this. And if that's the right answer, you could say, excellent, will you do that? And you get their commitment. Now, research results show from research that when you get somebody to commit, first of all, come up with an idea and then commit to it, you get 38% more compliance because it was their idea instead of yours. But let's say the first thing out of their mouth, they said, well, we can do this, and you knew that wouldn't get the results you want. Then as a leader, a high-performance leader, you would say, yeah, but what about this? And let them think about it, and they say, well, I guess we could do this. Well, if we did that, would that take care of that issue? And they said, well, yeah. Okay, so you're going to do what now? I'm going to do this and this to get this. Okay, excellent. Will you do that? Yes. Okay. Now, as a leader, not only do you communicate in a way where they're focused on the goals, but you also communicate in a way where they're always making the choice to do it, meaning you always leave them a choice. You never want to tell the employee what to do. You want to give people the opportunity to be an excellent employee, okay? And you also want to focus them on the goals while you do it. You always want to, you're trying to get people, you're programming them so when they come to work, the only thing they think about is work. You're taking out all the negativity and all the drama by the way you actually talk about, give instructions, interact with people, okay? So you're taking out the negative languages. What you're doing is you're focusing on the goals. Number one, always, think about this. If everybody came to work, and when they walked in the door, they left I outside, and as soon as they stepped in, it became us. And all they thought about was us and what we need to do to get to our team's results that support our company's mission. What would their performance be like? That's exactly what the high-performance leadership language does. It allows you to communicate in a way where they don't focus on you at all. They focus on what they're there to do with this group of people to get to these goals. So goal focus is number one. Number two, you always give them a choice. The way you use it, you always give them a choice. And you always make sure that you only use positive emotions. Positive emotions. You can smile. You can say, hey, how's it going? Hey, we're trying to get this done. How do we go about it? In other words, because I'm upbeat and excited, you're not really going to pay attention to that. If anything, you're going to say, well, that's cool. But it's not really going to bother you. But if I come up and say, here's what I need you to do, now how do you feel? So you want to say things always positively, always goal focused, never using any negative emotions, and you always give them a choice. Now, when you do that, that allows them to focus on what they're there for. And, you know, I can tell you right now, I've never actually fired employees, but I have had to let some go on to new opportunities. And I'm not saying that for semantics. I'm saying that because when you do this, sometimes you have to explain to an employee, okay, in order to be on this team, this result has to happen. So are you willing to give us that result? And sometimes a team member just says, well, that's not something I like to do. And then the answer to that is, well, I understand. I love you, but you can't be on the team if you're not willing to do that. You got to understand, as a leader, your job is not to tell them what you want. Nobody cares what you want. It's not your organization. It's not your outcome. And even if it is your organization, you don't want to focus on them thinking that you're the one trying to make them work all day. I want, I want, I want. You don't want to do that. Even in my company, I don't do that. Here's what we were trying to do. These are our goals, so how do we pursue them is the conversation. It's not about me, 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 me as the leader. It's about us as the group and what's going to get us to what we want. So that's the language of leadership. Now, that's just one example. At TLI, we have what's called the Professional Full Spectrum Leadership Certification, or it's also known as the Professional Dynamic Guides Leadership, or actually Dynamic Guide Professional Leadership Standard is what it is. And it is a full spectrum leadership certification. But what it does is it shows leaders how to learn this language of high performance leadership. So people come to work and they focus on what they're there to do, who they're there to do it with, in a positive way, and it gets out the negativity, and it gets out drama, for one thing. Drama is way too prevalent in workplaces. But it allows people to choose to do the right thing and then get the rewards for that. It allows you as a leader to focus on what they're there for instead of your behaviors. So the language of leadership is very important. You want to learn how to focus always on the goals. Everything comes out of your mouth is focused on the goals, how we get to these goals, what it takes to get us to these goals. Everything is focused on that. And that means you're doing that by letting them make the choices to do it and come to decisions that will get it, and you get the commitment from them, and you're positive when you do it. If you'll do those 5 things, you'll be amazed at the performance you get from the individuals in your organization. All right, so the Team Builder Leadership Institute, what we do is we create community dynamics. We create work environments where there is no drama, there is no conflict. Everybody knows what to do, with whom to do it, and they want to do it. They want to do it for themselves to get to their goals. They want to do it for the group to help the group get to their goals, and they want to do it for the organization. Community dynamics is what we do at the Team Builder Leadership Institute. We create communities within organizations. Imagine if you went to work with people you consider to be some of your best friends, and you guys had a good time together, you were happy, you felt good around each other. What would the workplace performance would be like? That's exactly what we create, and that's exactly what I'm sharing with you today. And it starts with that language of high-performance leadership, speaking to people in a way that you motivate, inspire, and focus them on the goals, but you do not negatively get them focused on you and your wants, your desires, your emotions, negative emotions. All right, so if you need some help with that, if this is something you'd like to pursue, the Team Builder Leadership, theteambuilderadrc.com, of course, is our site, theteambuilderadrc.com. And you can look at the high performance or the high performance leadership language. You can look on there. You can see our professional full spectrum leadership certification information, which teaches the Dynamic Guide Professional Leadership Standard, and that standard teaches leaders how to use this language so they're always inspiring, motivating, and focusing on the goals. Thank you. Enjoy our free ebooks and enjoy the products on the site. And if you need us, give us a call or shoot us an email. Thank you.